going on, y'all? Straight to the point. Hit that like button. Sub to the channel. Also hit the notifications to get all of my content, all of my videos. Salute to the whole entire Lions Den basketball and boxing communities, and salute to everybody that's rocking with me. Day ones, the new subs, and even the people that ain't rocking with me, man. Salute y'all too, because y'all doing your best job to destroy everything around here. But not gonna happen. It ain't gonna happen, all right? All right, man, let's get right into it, man. Look, I told y'all. I told every single last one of y'all. Everybody tried to sit up here and say that I was capping about Maxey. Joel Embiid was the one that was the main guy on the team. Uh, Maxey is not the main guy. He's not that guy. No, well, he's showing you. He's showing you. Okay, we were able to take care of the Kings last night. Uh, 118 to 104. Even with all the trade fiascos that's going on and everything, Maxey said he ain't worried about any of that, man. You know what I'm saying? I mean, if y'all guys are worried about trades and all this other stuff, man, I'm worried about playing the game. Maxey put up 30 points on a once again, shorthanded Sixers squad. And you see, this is why I do want Bob Myers in that front office. This is one of the reasons why. Because in a case like this, as you know, Bob Myers, um, he had built that Warriors team and constructed it to where, especially I'm talking about when the Warriors were at their pinnacle and at their peak, when they were winning championships and everything. If there was a guy that went out, guess what? More than likely you had somebody else to replace him. Now, of course, the KD situation and the Clay situation, sometimes that hurt. But when Draymond would have his injuries here and there, you know what I'm saying? More often than not, you had somebody to come in there and fill the void. It was the same thing with Steph Curry. A lot of people got to realize Steph Curry got, as much as I like Steph Curry and everything, Steph Curry done got hurt a lot. This was before, the Warriors started really making their presence felt in terms of championships. And then, of course, through their tenure, Steph Curry got hurt quite a bit. But, it wouldn't be long stretches of period of time, but, every now and then, he would have, he struggled with those ankle injuries or whatnot. I think there was one time when he had a long stretch of period of time when they had to play without him, man. I had to go back and go take a look at that. But basically what I'm saying is that they always had somebody on there that you were able to replace and could come in and fill the void. You know what I'm saying? That's why I'm getting ready to talk more into the Warriors in just a little bit. Talking about Andre Iguodala, because Mad Dog Russo, he was saying that Andre Iguodala does not deserve his jersey to be retired by the Warriors, and that raised a lot of questions. It started talking about some of the guys that I actually like. Like I like Robert Horry, and I appreciated Robert Horry. You gotta you have to appreciate guys like that. You had to appreciate, Michael Cooper, guys like that. And I get what Mad Dog Russo is saying and everything, but I'm gonna get into that in a little bit. But let me get back to Maxey though. Maxey is making Kobe aka the Black Mamba. He's making him proud right now. He's making him proud right now because Maxey is playing out of his mind right now. Listen, he was hurt earlier in the season, had some injuries, but guess what? He was able to bounce back. What true champions do, okay? What true champions do, not making any excuses and still going out there, still pounding the pavement or whatever, and still finding a way to get it done. Okay, so what? It was the Kings. I mean, the King, yeah, everybody. I mean, the Kings are above 500. You know what I'm saying? And on top of that, you know, you got he got his Kentucky guy, you know, who I'm pretty sure he sees a lot in De'Aaron Fox. You know, going at him and De'Aaron Fox. You know, let's just call it what it is. De'Aaron Fox is a superstar. Okay, some people might just have him as a you know, just an all-star level player. De'Aaron Fox is a superstar, man. Okay, De'Aaron Fox is a superstar. If you're gonna call Donovan Mitchell a superstar and all this other stuff, you gotta call De'Aaron Fox a superstar. But the thing about it is Maxey is still taking care of business regardless of what we have going on. Um, if we gotta continue to run small ball and get it that way, I'm cool with that. I'm all for it. I'm all for it, man. Because a lot of people been going at me. A lot of people been saying, "Oh yeah, well Maxey, man, Maxey, he's not ready," and you know he like Maxey been ready. Maxey been ready, and you know who I think for giving Maxey an opportunity that I don't think he's getting enough credit. Doc Rivers. Doc Rivers. As much as we talk down on Doc Rivers, you know what I'm saying? Because I'm guilty of it. I've critiqued Doc Rivers and everything. But this is what you had to realize, man. He put Maxey, he threw him in the fire when Maxey was barely getting any playing time. Threw him in the fire in the playoffs. And Maxey was able to take on that task of guarding Trey Young. And then after that, then you seen just his development just get better every season. You know, a lot of people got to realize, man, in that playoffs, when they played the Hawks and everything, Maxey wasn't getting that much playing time. He wasn't getting that much burn. And I was always saying, you know, you got to put Maxey out there. Man, he was ready to be unleashed, and Doc took a chance on him. So I think that Doc Rivers deserves his flowers for giving Maxey a chance, man. You know, they said everything that they could to try to destroy Maxey. It didn't bother him. He continued to stay in the lab, man. All that talk about think about all them times that they were just talking about Joel Embiid. Meanwhile, you got a guy in Maxey um, in the lab working. You know what I'm saying? Joel Embiid, you know, worried about eating and stuff in his face and out there, you know, constantly getting injured and stuff like that. Meanwhile, you got Maxey in there working on his body, working on his shot. Like he's so scientific. Maxey is so scientific, man. He kind of reminds you of Kobe a little bit in the sense that I'm talking about his mentality. Like he's saying that, like his shooting coach was saying that he needed to get more art on his shot, and so what he was saying is that he was trying to get up. I forgot. It was a crazy amount of makes he was trying to make a certain amount of makes the correct way. Even if he made it, I think he was saying it still would not count because he didn't put the proper arch on his shot. He said his shot was a little flat. That's when you know, man, you're dealing with a guy, man, that really appreciates the game, man. Joel Embiid, man, he don't appreciate no game, man. You know what I'm saying? And listen, as much as I've defended Paul George this season, I'm starting to think that Paul George don't appreciate the game neither. I mean, you appreciate the podcast and all that other stuff, man, but you like, honestly, man, my only problem with Paul George has always been his. I know, y'all mad. Y'all everybody get mad when I talk about Paul George. Y'all get so in your feelings, man, when I talk about Paul George. But it's got to be said. Seemed like he only cares about. Seemed like he only cares about his podcast and money and messing around with females and stuff. You know. So, man, salute to Maxey, man, for going out there. I mean, back on a back-to-back, and you don't see. Look, Maxey young. He ain't up in there complaining about no back-to-back. I was about to say black-to-black. He ain't he ain't complaining about no back-to-back. Turn around, back door, and get it done again. You know what I'm saying? He just got a lot of energy, man. And he's like, well, shit. And Maxey, right now, I think he's enjoying this because he wants to show people. He want to show people that he can handle the load. He want to show people that he could get the job done whether Joel Embiid is there or not. To me, that speaks so much volumes, man. That speaks a lot of volumes, man. A lot of volumes that a lot of people don't necessarily realize. Because I'm gonna tell you something, man. Maxey is at a point now where, like, he's needed. He's a necessity on that team. Before, a lot of people didn't look at him like that. Like I said, I always say this, man. And when I talk about an MVP, now I'm not putting Maxey in an MVP, but hell, if Maxey would have been playing like this, out of his mind, without these guys in there and stuff like that, carrying the load, winning 4 straight, you know what I'm saying? I mean, then, okay, yeah, we would be talking about that. But I always say this, right? I used Saquon Barkley as an example. If you take Saquon Barkley off of that team, off of that Philly team, when it comes to football, guess what? Philly's not going to be anywhere. If you take, like, for instance, Cade Cunningham, who a lot of people feel like should be starting in the All-Star game. Okay? I think that Cade Cunningham deserves a starting spot for what he has done with the Pistons. But if you take Maxey off of the Sixers, they're not going nowhere. They're not going nowhere, man. I guarantee you. Because who you going to have? Shit, Maxey was the one that had 30 points. The next highest one was Oubre, and I think he had 15. So, Maxey's getting the job done, man. He's not making no excuses. He's just taking care of what needs to be taken care of and doing what leaders do, which is to go out there and show that winning mentality. and that's what he's doing, man. That's why I've always said now it's coming to light. Now people are starting to see what I've been saying about Joel Embiid this whole entire time. Like I'm telling y'all, man, a lot of people used to go at me when I was telling them Joel Embiid is not better than Jokic because I know what I saw. And I wasn't saying that because Joker was, more athletic and had better moves and his game was funner to watch and all that other stuff. No, that wasn't the reason. The reason is because Jokic shows up. Jokic gets the job done. He don't have 1,000 excuses why he can't show up. He don't have to be on the injury report every time you turn around. Every time you turn around, every time you turn around with Joel Embiid, he either questionable, DMP, probable, or out, or maybe out for the season. Those are the things that you're gonna see. It's always an injury report on there. If we're gonna give Anthony Davis the smoke and everything, and look, I want to say this too about Anthony Davis too, right? Anthony Davis, right? Here's the thing about Anthony Davis. I'm not mad at Anthony Davis for getting an abdominal strain because that shit really does happen or whatever. Anthony Davis actually been playing through a lot of injuries this season. Like he played he's been having an issue with plantar fasciitis, and he's had a few other injuries and stuff like that. And Anthony Davis still been playing through it, so I give him his credit because he's about to be out for a week or so. I'm not mad at Anthony Davis. Now I kind of question him in terms of him saying, "Oh yeah, we need help," crying for help and stuff like that. That I will cook Anthony Davis on that, in that sense. But in terms of Anthony Davis saying or him being hurt out for a week, I'm not mad at Anthony Davis because let's just be real. Anthony Davis been the one that's been putting in the work. Anthony Davis been the one that's been, in the front court, and maybe he do need some help, but I mean, you obviously don't need no help if you're in a relatively good position. I mean, at one point y'all were fifth in the Western Conference. I mean, a lot of people didn't think y'all was really gonna do anything really, but y'all been fifth in the Western Conference, even though y'all been beating up on bad teams. So I just wanted to put that out there about Anthony Davis real quick. But last night, SGA, I think SGA had 52. But they took an L to the Warriors. One thing I'm not going to do, you'll never hear me sit up there and say, go to sleep on the Warriors and all this other stuff. Now, I'm not going to say no silly shit. I think, shout out to Herm. I think I was talking to Herm one time, and he was talking about that Golden State was the scariest team in the league and all this other stuff or whatever. And he said that last season or whatever, and I said, well, they're not no scariest team in the West or nothing because they just not, they're not the same. They're not the same team that they once were. But I'm not gonna go to sleep on them. But I didn't give them a chance of making it or whatever, because of everything that they have been through and stuff. And then you had that situation that was going on, the drama and stuff like that. So I didn't think that the Warriors last season were in any type of position to make a run, and then you see what ended up happening. They didn't go nowhere. You know what I'm saying? They couldn't contend with the Dallas. They couldn't contend with the OKC. Definitely Minnesota, who I mentioned. I had Minnesota initially coming out of the West last season. I had them coming out of the West, but we saw what happened. My pick was wrong. But the reason why I bring all this up is that Steph Curry. One of the reasons why you hear me utter Steph Curry's name as one of the greatest, well, possibly the greatest in this generation, is simply because he doesn't sit there crying for help. You know what I'm saying? He said we just got to play better. You know what I'm saying? Stuff is gonna happen. And listen, I know this conversation that I'm about to enter in is probably gonna hurt some of y'all feelings. But let's go ahead and let's truly revisit that situation that happened when KD had came over there. I was probably the only one in the minority saying that it was more KD wanting to come over to the Warriors than Steph Curry begging KD to come over there. Because Steph Curry is just built differently. He wasn't on his knees begging for KD to come over there like that. You know, if we're really being honest, it was KD. He was the one that wanted the ring so bad. He was tired of seeing he was tired of seeing LeBron win all those championships, and he was tired of being eliminated and everything. And he saw, he was jealous. He was jealous of the fact that, man, hey, look, I want some of that Larry O'Brien too. Steph Curry and Clay and Draymond was getting at the time. And so let's just swing it right back around and let's spin the block talking about what we're talking about right now. Steph Curry is not crying for help. So how can people push this narrative saying that Steph Curry was was begging KD to come over there and all this other stuff? I know, okay, yeah, they probably had phone conversations and stuff like that, but it wasn't like, please, please come back, like they begging Jordan to come back in back to Chicago or some shit like that. It won't like that, man, because the Warriors were in a relatively good position anyways to win it again. They were in a good position to win it with KD and without KD. It didn't make no difference. So that's why like I still don't go to sleep on the Warriors because nobody gave them a shot in 22. Only thing that they gave, the reason why they possibly had gave them just a little bit of a shot is because of, you know, they saw good play in Andrew Wiggins, who at the time did make a case uh, for um, for final MVP for how he played or whatever. But Steph Curry was gonna get that MVP, and also a lot of people were doubting the Warriors during that year too because Klay Thompson, he wasn't the same, just from coming back from injury and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? He was just wasn't that far removed from coming off of his injury. Hell, there was even people saying what they been saying the last couple of seasons that Klay Thompson should retire and all this other stuff. And then of course, he ended up getting a 3-point record that season. But I'm not going to sleep on the Warriors. Now, do I see them coming out of the West? No, I don't see them coming out of the West. I'm still sticking with OKC. OKC. If when OKC gets all of their pieces back and everything, we'll have to revisit everything because injuries do play a big part in everything in wins and losses a lot of time. And SGA been carrying the load. He's been carrying the load. He's in a situation. Some about those Kentucky boys, man. Like when we talk about SGA, when we talk about De'Aaron Fox, when we talk about Maxey, it's some about them Kentucky boys, especially them Kentucky guards. So yeah, man. But yeah, man, Steph Curry, man, he's not begging and crying for no help. That's what champions don't do is sit there begging and crying for help. Now, do I believe that Steph Curry want to win uh, and be above LeBron when it's all said and done? Absolutely. But a lot of people don't have to worry about it. I already got Steph Curry above LeBron. I already got him above LeBron. I've said that numerous of times. A lot of people they get mad and they get all offended and stuff like that. But I already got him above LeBron, man, for what for what he's done. Yeah, look, if I mean we got to go with rings. You know what I'm saying? Like they say, I think one time LeBron was saying that rings don't really define a player, stuff like that. Okay, that's true to a point. You know what I'm saying? But one of the questions that a lot of guys, women and men, ask in a debate, it's just a common question. Well, how many rings did the guy got? I guarantee you, and that's one of the things. Whenever they describe a player, they'll say, "Oh yeah, he got 5 rings, he got 4 rings, he got 6 rings, stuff like that." That's one of the things that they mention. That's one of the things that they mention. You know what I'm saying? So we can't sit up here and get into this, um, make these excuses talking about, rings don't matter and all this other BS. That's that's not true, especially when we're talking about the goat criteria. At one time they was talking about Kareem. Was the goat. Well, when you mentioned Kareem, guess what? One of the things that came up, it wasn't just the all-time leading scorer. A lot of people wasn't even looking at that. They were looking at the rings. They were looking at the fact that he had 6 rings. Jordan, guess what? They look at 6-0 in the finals. They look at never went past the game 6. All that other silly shit. Now, Andre Iguodala, man. Now that we're talking about Warriors, Andre Iguodala. Um, I appreciated Andre Iguodala, man. Especially coming over from both Philly. A lot of people don't realize he played for Denver too. And of course he played for Miami too. Um, Now Mad Dog Russo was sitting there saying that Andre Iguodala should not have his jersey raised to the Raptor. I disagree with Mad Dog Russo. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of what you don't know, man. I happen to a lot of Mad Dog Russo's takes. They do be on point. You know what I'm saying? There be some stuff that he be capping about, but for the most part, Mad Dog Russo do be on point with some of the stuff that he be saying. In this case though, right here, Mad Dog Russo is he out of pocket for what he said. Now I know it's his opinion and everything, but Andre Iguodala does deserve to have his jersey retired by the Golden State Warriors. Okay, he only had 9 points. I mean, okay, Michael Cooper didn't score that much, and he's my favorite player on the Lakers. But when we're talking about an elite defensive uh, lockdown, an elite lockdown defender, in which that's what he pretty much had turned into when he went to Golden State. You know what I'm saying? That's what he was known for. Um, 3 and D to a certain extent. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't lights out 3-point shooter, nothing like that. But he would knock him down, and on top of that, he could also get to the rack, and he would make important shots. That's another thing. Everybody talks about all these clutch shots and stuff like that the Warriors were making and stuff. You know, when it came to Clay, um, Steph, Andre Iguodala doesn't get appreciated for the clutch moments that he played a part in too. He does deserve it, and then on top of that, he was the Finals MVP. Now a lot of people, they raise their eyebrows. It should have been given. I mean, it should have been given to Steph Curry, in which I do agree a little bit to a certain extent of what Rachel Nichols was saying and everything. But nevertheless, I mean, you can't question the lockdown defense that he was playing in that series, and not only just against LeBron, but multiple guys on the Cleveland Cavaliers, and throughout the whole entire playoffs too. That's what gets forgotten. So Andre Iguodala, he's he's a part of those championships. He was a part of those championships. You needed Andre Iguodala, and more often than not, he was going to show up. You know what I'm saying? He was in a different space in terms of his NBA career at that time. We knew Andre Iguodala when he was with the Philadelphia 76ers. When he was with the Philadelphia 76ers, Andre Iguodala, I don't think a lot of y'all know, he was a high flyer. He was athletic, coming out of Arizona. He was athletic, could catch it from everywhere. He was in a slam dunk. I don't think he won a slam. Did Andre Iguodala win a slam dunk contest? I don't think he won a slam dunk contest. He competed in the slam dunk contest or whatever. But Andre Iguodala, man, he does deserve to be. Uh, he does deserve to have his number 9 jersey in the Raptors, and I put it out there. A lot of people gonna say what they say. You know what I'm saying? It's just like with Draymond. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of guys in the LDBC that disagree that Draymond shouldn't be a Hall of Famer, but I feel the same way about Draymond. Look, if you take Draymond, if you take any of them guys off of that team or whatever, they're not gonna perform as well. You saw what happened. You know what I'm saying? KD took him off of that squad. Guess what? Wasn't able to win that championship. You know what I'm saying? Draymond suspended. We saw what happened. Even with that. You know what I'm saying? And we got to look at it from that standpoint. I know a lot of people don't like him. I don't like the shit that Draymond does. I think, man, some of the shit that Draymond does, man, is is stupid, especially early, early on in his career. But people can say what they want. You needed Draymond on those teams or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Draymond was looked at, really honestly, he was looked at as a point guard. If we're being honest, if we being honest, he was looked at as a point guard. Steph Curry even came out and said on record, he said, "Man, I'm not the point guard." He said Draymond is our primary ball handler, especially with the system that they running. So, but this ain't about Draymond, man. This is about Andre Iguodala, and like I said, man, I got Andre Iguodala as a Hall of Famer. Not as a Hall of Famer, as in him raising his jersey to the Raptors. I don't know about a Hall of Famer, man. Uh, that's something that I have to revisit too. But I am gonna pose that question if Andre Iguodala is a Hall of Famer. And it's like if we have to sit here and we have to wonder if he is a Hall of Famer, then 9 times out of 10, man, you know, we can't really give him we can't really give him that nod. You know what I'm saying? You know, but my thing is this: y'all waited this long to put Cooper in there. A lot of people, believe it or not, man, as delusional and as stupid as they are, they don't see Michael Cooper as no Hall of Famer. He is a Hall of Famer. I feel the same way about Robert Horry, though. I feel the same way about Robert Horry. Like, I know that a lot of people don't see Robert Horry as a Hall of Famer. You know what I'm saying? But you cannot question. Like, even Stephen A. Smith had even said it. He said, "Man, if you're gonna put Andre Iguodala in there in the Hall of Fame, then you better put Robert Horry in there." And I agree with that 100%. You're talking about a guy. What Robert Horry got 7 rings. 7 rings, man. And not that, man. What is that? That's not saying that he was the main player. None of that. You know what I'm saying? He wasn't. He wasn't no Jordan and no shit like that. You know what I'm saying? But his clutch shot making, his defense. Um, you know what I'm saying? Hell, his athleticism early on in his career. I don't think that often gets talked about. Like, just the little things, like, the fear factor of Robert Horry at the end of games. Dog, it's a lot of things. You know what I'm saying? That we can't just sweep up under the rug when we're talking about a Hall of Fame type of player. And on top of that, he's been a part of each and every one of those championships. When you talk about the Lakers, when you talk about the Rockets, and then when you talk about the Spurs, he was a part of those. He was an important piece of those championships. And really, to be honest with you, you wouldn't have those championships. Some of those championships, if it wasn't for Robert Horry. But That's neither here nor there, man. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to get up out of here. Make sure y'all hit that like button, sub to the channel if you're not a member. Also hit them notifications too, straight to the point, sports and entertainment. Shouts out to the whole entire line, then basketball, boxing community. Till then, man, I'm gone.